Welcome back to Nick and Noko. If this is your first time watching, hopefully you stick around for a little bit and kind of see what it's all about and what we bring to the table, which is usually something stupid. But today, we're going to be upgrading the rear brakes on the Diva. This is a 2005 Subaru Legacy GT wagon that has had way too much to list done to it. And one of the things that has always bugged me is I've got the Brembos upgraded on the front from the STI Gold Brembos, and the backs have always been kind of just that gross looking stock caliper. So we picked up some of these single pot gold Brembos that came off of a 2005 STI. With a little bit of help, they'll bolt up to the rears of this car. So some of the things that I needed to get other than the calipers themselves is I picked up some
Kartboy
rear brake caliper adapters, so they'll allow me to mount these calipers to the knuckle on the back here. I also picked up the brake rotors from a 2004 STI because it'll have the same 5x100 bolt pattern that you need. I wanted to get the Brembo drilled to match the front, however those were not available, and I wanted to get this done for SubiFest Midwest, so I went ahead and just got these Duralast Gold. They should work just fine, and they were a pretty decent price, and I've used Duralast brake products before. They come from AutoZone. They work great. They're fine.
Yeah, right.
Then lastly, I needed to pick up some adapter brake shoes. These are from K&R, I think, is the name of the brand, and the only place I could find them was Flatirons Tuning out of Colorado. They have a really cool YouTube channel, actually. If you guys don't already follow Flatirons Tuning, I highly suggest you go over there. There's a lot of really good information. It's all technical information on Subaru stuff and parts and why would you want to use this and why you want to use that.
Nerd alert!
And so that kind of encouraged me that the products that they carry, they've vetted and know that they're quality products. So I went ahead and got those parking brake shoe adapters, and what they are is they just have a much thicker pad on them to allow you to use the same setup, because these are a 170 millimeter inside of the drum portion of the drum disc brakes that these have, whereas with the STI drums it's a 190 millimeter, I want to say. I know it's 10 or 20 millimeters larger. So you can get rotors that are custom made. I can't remember the name of the company that makes them, but they make rotors that will fit the larger size for the Brembo calipers, but have the smaller bore in the drum portion for the parking brake on these. Those were somewhat expensive themselves. And then you're kind of stuck with, you always have to get those rotors if you want to replace them ever. Whereas I wanted to have the freedom to be able to get whatever rotor brand I wanted, and there's way more options for an 04 STI. Also, just trying to keep with the Brembo brand because they're trusted, they're synonymous with Subaru. I've got them on the front. They've been great brakes and pads and stuff, so just kind of wanted to stay in that realm anyway. But since they weren't available, let's go Duralast, and then I have options for later if I want to. So yeah, we're gonna get started with this project by just cleaning up these calipers. I picked them up at a what do you call that? I want to say flea market, but that's not right. You go buy parts at a car show. A bunch of people there with tables of used parts. I went and tried to sell some stuff and sold one thing. Why can't I think of what that's called? Swap meet. Anyway, so they're used. So they need some cleaning up. I wish I had thought ahead to get a little bit of touch-up paint and just kind of touch up where it's chipped off and stuff, but it'll be fine. The fronts look used. It looks like the brake hardware is in pretty decent shape. However, I actually would know who has got this brake hardware. Mr. messaged me, Max, I believe, before I tried to purchase some brake hardware from him for the fronts. And he gave me some pins that didn't fit, and I'm looking at these here, and Max, I think you gave me the pins for the rear brakes. Go figure. So anyway, so we'll start with cleaning these up. Also, we'll do some unboxing so you guys can kind of see the things that I picked up here. And that's always exciting to unveil things in an unboxing way, I guess. And then from there, we'll just disassemble and reassemble. It'll be fun, I promise. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the package from
Kartboy.
And we'll get into this. Let's see what we got here. Ooh. So here we got some of their end links. This is for the rear sway bar, because when I do this, I'm also going to swap over to a Spec-B sway bar that I also picked up at that swap meet. So we have some end links, rear end links from
Kartboy.
We got a whole bunch of stuff in here. What do we got here? Ooh, fiery cinnamon fizz candy. You know, I'm diabetic, so I may give that to the kids. Let's see what else we got here. Yes, here are the adapter brackets from
Kartboy.
So, yep. So they've got, they come with some of the gold bolts in there. Looks like they got plenty of hardware. And yeah, here they are. They look really well made. Be looking good on the back side while we get that all put together. And then it looks like, ooh, oh, so many stickers! Look at these shinies. Shiny, shimmery stickers. Carrie just called. Lunch is ready. So we'll finish unboxing this and we'll come back. But, ooh! Oh, look at that. Beautiful shirt. Ooh, and it's puffy ink. Oh, maybe it's not. It's just thick. It felt like puffy ink at first. Might be glow in the dark. I'll be very curious to see if that's glow in the dark. But that's a rad shirt. I think I'm going to be wearing that at Subi Fest. Go represent Kartboy! Next, we got our box from Flat Irons Tuning. Next, slicey, 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 slicey. Recept. This is well packaged. Whole lot of shredded box in there. So we got a box and a box. Yes, KNS 801. These are the adapter shoes for when you're doing this with a Legacy. It was a different part number between the Legacy and the WRX / Forester, so I don't know if there's how big of a difference there is between those shoes, but it was KNS 801 was the number on these for the Legacy. I think for a WRX or Forester is listed as a KNS 800. 800. Yeah, that's some thick shoes on there. Those should last forever, right?
That way. That way. Toad. Toad.
Chasing off a toad who keeps trying to get in the garage.
I'm trying to.
So I got one of these all pulled apart, as far as I'm going to pull it apart for the cleaning process. So you can see that these ones, they did come with some brake shoes. Looking at them, they've got plenty of pad left on them
Toad. Oh my
for the
God.
most part.
Toad. Toad.
You know, that little wear mark isn't too far away, but that looks decent enough padding. But I pulled all this apart. I'm just going to hose it down really well with some brake cleaner, brush it off, try to get it cleaned up nice, re-grease the pins and all that stuff, and then get it all put back together and ready to go on the car. And there's Carrie getting ready to lift up the back of Grandma Edith, because she's going to start taking apart the rear brakes on there, because we're going to convert it over to disc brakes. So yes, the Escort does still exist. Alright, brake cleaner. Stuff needs to come out, but there we go. Doesn't like to be tilted down.
Ah! You got me.
It'll happen. Bristly British.
It smells so good.
You like the smell of that?
Yeah.
Don't sniff too hard.
I'll take shallow breaths.
Sounds like a metal song.
I'll take shallow breaths.
No, it sounds like an 80s song. Don't waste water. That's right.
Good message for people.
Don't waste water. Bring it up nice. Shiny gold.
I love gold.
All right. Oh, baby shark. So got these all cleaned up. They look pretty good. There's just that hole right there that I think I may need to clean those threads up a little bit because they're looking kind of gnarly. But overall, they look to be in really good shape. I think I'm going to go ahead and just reuse the pads that they came with. They're getting close to being fully worn, but this only needs to last the rest of this fall, so I can always replace them next spring and save a little bit of money right now. Okay, so got the old brakes off and I'm just hanging them up here for now because I don't want to just let that brake fluid drip out everywhere, so I figure I'll get this one out of the way and then get ready to get all the drum stuff taken care of for the parking brake, and get everything ready to go so that I can just remove the line off of that and get it onto the new caliper as quickly as possible, so that I make as little of a mess as possible, and that's that much less brake fluid that I have to clean up and refill and stuff. So let's do all this. And I think what I'm going to do is just get a clean visual of how this is all put together. You can use a picture or anything like that, but take a quick video so I can reference this when putting it back together. Since this is only like the second time I've ever done one of these on this car. I'm old enough that I've had to do this to multiple vehicles throughout my lifetime, but so the new shoes did not come with this little lever arm, so I'm having to get that guy off. So yeah, this has been interesting and gradually prying, but I finally got it to move a little bit off of there. Yeah. Hi. Ooh, yeah. Goodness gracious. Whoa! Knock it over the camera. Getting close. Don't want to stab myself. Somebody watching me doing this that knows this, the special trick is just pulling all their hair out. Would you just go grab this thing and do this? There we go. Yeah, we'll just reuse that. It'll be alright. This other one, I want it to go on that way. Put it right on there. Oh my gosh. Just grab something bigger. Or maybe I could just hammer it on. There. Got it all switched out. So when I put it back together, I didn't tape it, or I didn't record it. But when I put it back together, I started with getting these two post things put in, and that kind of secured the brakes to the back. And then I got this self-adjuster in, and then I put that spring in, and then I put all of put this bracket and this guy and these springs in, and got it all put together that way. And I think it's in there right. So could not put the Duralast Gold rotors on there because they're the wrong ones. So even though I inputted that I needed a 2004 Impreza 2.5 turbo, which indicates it's an STI, those are for a standard Impreza, I'm guessing, because they are even smaller than the ones that came off the Legacy. So yeah, that's no go. So I'm going to have to source some actual STI rotors. I looked around at all the local auto parts stores, and it's the same scenario where I looked a little closer, and these are solid rotors, whereas the ones that come with the Brembos should be vented, and also they should be like 316 millimeters, I believe. But I can get the sway bar on one, digging around, get the other side pulled apart and put back together as far as the parking brake is concerned. And then unfortunately I was hoping to go to cruising tomorrow, but it's not looking like I'm going to make it to that. So alright, we'll get back to it when we can. Gonna get this sway bar done. So I already took the nut out of the bottom end link here. I got 2 bolts here and then another bracket on the other side that's the same. This might be kind of interesting trying to get this out of here with this exhaust the way it is. I can see where that would be difficult even with a stock exhaust. But we'll see. I got the wheel and brakes all pulled apart on either side, so should be able to get to it at least. And see if we can kind of wiggle it out. Because this one is much thinner than the Spec-B one, so I should gain a little extra sway there. That was easy enough. Whoop. Oh, I'm sorry. Hoping I should be able to reuse these brackets even though it's this larger diameter. But. It's got like a little hook on the end. So, yeah, I think it might clean that up and just, yeah, clean that up a little bit so it doesn't look so grungy. So, if we can get this, I think we're hooked on the caliper on the other side. Well, we got it out. It was an adventure. Had to essentially take one side, the link off because it was just one more thing in the way, and had to bring it out towards the passenger side till I cleared the mount over on this side for that part of the sway bar. And then I was able to, at that point, free it up enough where I could finagle it and twist it up underneath the car while rotating it as needed to get it out and up beyond this custom exhaust here. So, yeah. So we'll see if this bigger one fits in here. Let's go. Got it back in. It was a million times easier getting it back in here. It just slid right into place, which of course, you know, makes me nervous that I missed something. Huzzah! lot better. Let's get my shiny. Now I can. What feels like, I think that's the polyurethane bushing that came on these that I got from. I'm sure it was from Sleepy. Oh man, that looks so clean. That looks so clean and shiny. And then I'm gonna put these shitty looking bolts on there. I think I might shine those a little too. Don't mind the murdering of a chicken that's happening over here. Alright, time to put on the
Kartboy.
end links. And I believe these are labeled as drop end links, so I don't know if I think they may move the sway bar down just a little bit for a little more torsion. So, got all the hardware here, got these here, they look like they're universal for either side. So the through bolts should go through the top and the bottom with the nuts and the washers and all the things and the stuff, and then we'll get that put on. Now, with the
Kartboy.
end links, you'll want to make sure to grease up the bolts that'll go through. That way they won't cluck around. You'll get quieter end links, so it won't be so clunky or squeaky or any of that sort of stuff. Alright, a little bit of backlighting here, but should give you the idea, at least. So, go through there. Maybe I'll do that the other way around. I'll come from this side, and that way I can just from the inside with the bolt, or with the nut rather. It's this side. It's gonna be a little bit tight with the knuckle here. There we go. Okay, get that through. And it does look like there's going to be, like, it does kind of look like from the top that there's like a weird gap here. I don't know if the Spec-B sway bar is curved slightly differently because it's from a sedan. But I think once everything gets tightened down, it's just going to be at a little bit of an angle on the bushing there, and it should be fine. It should be fine. Alright, we just got to tighten those down, and that side will be good. Bye. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, got the rear sway bar all done. Got that Spec-B sway bar on there, and then got those
Kartboy.
end links on. So everything's looking good there, but once I get those rotors, everything should go back together pretty quickly, and then of course we'll have to bleed the brakes. So yeah, good night. All right, we're back, day 2. I did reach out to Max and found out that he did have some used rotors that I can just go ahead and use, and he was willing to make a trade with me, so I traded some parts and got some used rotors, and so I should be able to put this back together now. Got the boy out here helping today. We're taking a quick beverage.
Yeah.
What you got there?
Diet Faygo.
Diet Faygo twist. We like Faygo in this house. For those of you not in the know, that is a Michigan thing. So yes, this side is all ready to go. I just got to grab these rotors that I picked up, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just, you know, clean the hats up a little bit, make them look a little more presentable. They're not terrible, but they definitely got a little bit of rust on them from sitting. And then, you know, the rest of it will probably clean off with the first few brakes, so I'm not too worried about that. But we'll definitely get some of this crud off of here, and maybe take a wire wheel or a little sandpaper to this part, just clean it up a little bit, and then we should be good. Okay, so I'm just gonna try and put a little brake cleaner and do a little scotch pad on these. See if I can just clean them up good. This is running out, but yeah. You see the little spit shine? Yeah. Yeah, I think those will clean up okay. Look at that. You're gonna try and get as much of that rust off there as you can. You got it.
Fingers hurt.
Yep, use your whole hand. There you go. Nice. Now you're getting there. Yeah. That'll clean it. Good enough for your mother.
Don't eat too many hot dogs.
Well, got it cleaned up pretty good. It looks much better than it did before. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when it gets out of the car. Before the show, I may end up picking up some G2 paint or something and just getting this, you know, covered in a nice crisp fresh black. But putting it up here, it runs into the lip of the brake dust guard, the dust guard here. So I'm going to have to cut it right at the fold here. Got my trusty Dremel. See if it clears. Yep, that clears. Just gonna clean up any rough edges and spritz a little bit of paint on there so it doesn't rust. Call it good. Just that Dremel cutting wheels, I was running through those like crazy and I only had a couple left. So I ended up having to run out to the hardware store and pick up some more cutting wheels, but we got it cut and they fit on there good. So that's on there now, so that's good in all their rusty glory. So hopefully that'll clean up once we start braking. But it's getting late, as you can see. It's getting dark out here. And I was looking all over, so the
Kartboy.
brackets, with how beautiful they are, they came with these glorious gold bolts. And I cannot find what happened to the other four for me to put them back to mount them onto the rear trailing arms there. So I'm kind of frustrated, and it's late, so I'm gonna call it a night, and we'll get back at it fresh-faced in the next couple days and try to get it finished up. Shouldn't be too much longer. Just have to find the bolts, get those attached on, put in the pads, all that stuff, and then just gotta bleed the brakes. So that usually kind of is tedious, but we'll get it done, and then we'll go out for a test drive. Yes! Back, day 3 of this project, which was pretty unnecessary. Got a hold of Tom over there at
Kartboy.
and he let me know that there was only enough gold bolts to put the caliper brackets on the Brembo calipers, and that the other package of bolts with the silver bolts, I needed to use the small ones to put the caliper bracket onto the brakes. So yeah, I feel like an idiot. So to get to where these holes are, there's a space behind the trailing arm here, and there's a hole right here as well that goes through. So you got to kind of come from back here. These are a 8mm Allen head style, and so I've got my little 8mm iron extension. Get these up here in place. Might be able to feed this through right here. It's short enough. Nope, that's not going to work. There we go. And I got fat fingers, and I can get that started. Okay, that one started. Get this one started up here. It actually fits pretty snugly up against there. Yeah, let's go on there. So you can kind of see here that it's got a nice snug fit right up against it's shaped perfectly. Look at that. That's quality. Way to go,
Kartboy.
So something to note on the brake pads for the Brembo system. So these are some anti-noise shims that come with them. And what you want to look at is the little arrow here. That should point in the rotational direction of the rotor when the car is in forward motion. So we're going to make sure that the arrows point up when we put those brake pads into there. And then once you get the pads in there, these will stick through these holes and hold it in place. Make sure you put a little bit of brake grease on these so that it allows it to slide, those brake pads to slide back and forth on these. It doesn't take much, just a little bit, just enough to create some glide. I'm going to get all the brake pads put inside, and then we're going to go through the bleeding procedure, which I'm going to have to look up. But also, I'm going to be swapping over the line here from the old caliper. I kind of was going to keep this all connected until I got everything put together, so that way I could just really quick pull this off, switch it over, and lose as little brake fluid as possible, make as little of a mess as possible. I've got my little pan here to catch anything that might fall, and then we'll go through the bleeding process. I forgot to mention once you get the first pin in, you want to put the retaining clip on. So this is going to put pressure to keep the pads in alignment. And so we got that set up, and we're going to go through with the other pin down here. And then we're going to push this down so we can push it through. There we go. And you want to push it all the way through. There we go. Until you see it pop out the other side. And then, as you can see on this side, it's got a little pin hole that will push the little cotter pin through, and that'll retain that other pin. Alright, so we're going to try and do this as quick as we can. I left the brake fluid reservoir cap on to help kind of reduce the amount that it would potentially drip out here, but I got my drip pan. I've already got this one open. I'm going to pull this one off and swap everything over kind of as quick as I can. Wow, that's on there tight. Okay.
Shaking the whole engine.
Oh my gosh. Why are you being like this? Oh, there it goes. Okay, are you filming already?
It's been filming.
That's okay. Yeah. So, it may have been better to at least crack that while it was still attached. I did not expect that to be on so hard. I already got some drippy drips. And something I read from somebody else who had done this is that they found that the way this is routed isn't necessarily going to go in easily through the little slot that they have here. So you just kind of got to get it on there however it sits comfortably. Okay. Oops, missed it just a little bit. How do we want to route this so we're not running into stuff? So what I'm trying to do is just break the seal over here so I can clock it a little differently. There we go. This is a jam nut situation. There we go. Now we've got it clocked this way. See if we can go in from a different angle. Here we go. There we go. In an ideal world, I would put fresh crush washers in this, but I did not. Little brake cleaner to clean that off. Brake fluid is caustic AF. You don't want that shit all over this delicious gold paint. Okay, and then you gotta remember to reseal the one back here. So gonna have to keep an eye on that for first few drives just to make sure that we're not getting any suspension interference in here. May have to bend these lines a little differently, or maybe get custom line bent here to go a little shorter. Yeah, these stainless lines were meant for the GT brakes, so they're a little bit longer. So we'll see. Here's that hard brake line, and it goes up to here. This is where I cracked it open to be able to reclock it. I think if you had the time and the gumption, you could probably cut and like put a new fitting and flare it and all that stuff probably about here if you really wanted to do that, and then get a little bit more appropriate locating and clocking out of that. So we'll see how that does. I'll just put it going here. We're gonna see if this one will come on this side. Yep, this one came right out.
Wow. Did that just sound like Jeff Goldblum?
Jeff Goldblum. Do you mean Owen Wilson?
No.
Wow.
Wow.
Jeff Goldblum. Wow.
I did not have to reclock this one. Ah, there we go. Brake cleaner.
Whoa.
Be careful of those fumes there, child.
That is strong.
No, no, no.
I'm backing up.
That's non-chlorinated too.
It's in my legs now.
Cool. Well, that's in both sides. Now for bleeding. I don't know if they just hatched or what, but it's pretty neat. The last thing to do is bleed them.
Make them bleed.
So I picked up this OEM Tool rental brake bleeder kit from AutoZone, and I got some .4 synthetic brake fluid. That's what was recommended for the Brembo brakes. And they do have two bleeding valves on the inside and the outside. So you can see I've already kind of cracked this one open with the tube on it to try and get it to start bleeding a little bit. It looks like we're getting some out just from natural gravity blood pressure. But what I'll be doing is I'll be, in a second here, I'll close this back up. I'll go open up the lid for the reservoir, and I'll put some pressure into this, probably up to about 20 pounds or so. And then I'll crack this open, and then it'll pull the fluid out through. And with these Brembo brakes, you do want to start with the inside portion bleeding, and then go to bleed the outside. So fill this one up, and then move the fluid on over to here. So I got it up to about 17 psi of pressure, vacuum rather. As you can see, it is pulling some air out. That bleed until I stop seeing the air coming out of this side, and I'll keep an eye on the reservoir and top it off as needed as well.
Let it bleed on the backside. No time to make the front bleed.
Feel the pop. You do not want to let this go dry. So you'll just end up introducing a whole lot of air into the system. I had to employ some help. This Scare you?
But
The bleeders were working fine. They just took forever. And so I had Carrie come out here just to do the old open, down, close, up on this backside just to confirm. It was bled pretty well, but I figured as long as she's out here, let's do the other side real quick. That looked pretty good. Hit the brakes, how do they feel? Good. Yeah? Nice and firm?
That's what she said.
You like how firm it is?
That's what she said.
Is it firm enough for you?
Hey, that's what she said.
All right. And then get her on the ground. Oops. Forgot my centric ring. There we go. Try that again. Just an extra left is all. There we go. We lower the car, get it on the ground, and then we can torque down the end links since they'll be at ride height there. That's probably all the rust on the brakes. That'll get knocked off. Man, that looks good. Sweet. Well, I did do the test drive last night. It was too dark to get any like in the car commentary, but brakes feel fine. They do make a little bit of noise right now, kind of that scrapey, rusty sound, but they'll clean up. They already have a little more brushed off of them. And then the rear sway bar, that Spec-B sway bar with the
Kartboy.
rear end links, oh my gosh, just on a couple of turns that I took last night, that feels like the car wants to rotate so much easier. Way more confidence building. So huge shout out and thank you to
Kartboy.
for the end links and for the caliper adapters. So that was a huge part of this project. Big thank you to Message Me Max. If you need any used Subaru parts in Michigan, he's the man to reach out to. So he came in a pinch with those rotors. And then thank you to Sleepy as well for the sway bar. Bought that from him at a swap meet. And then also, I cannot remember who I bought the Brembos from, but I got those rear Brembos from a swap meet as well. It's not a cheap part of the project, but gosh, does it look good? And so far, from what I can tell, it feels really good. So, yeah. I'm pretty new to YouTube. I still don't have very many followers, so if you like the content, please give me a follow, poke a like, share it with people. I'm trying to improve on this and trying to grow this. This is something that I just do in my off time. I'm a business owner and a parent, so I don't post super regularly, but I'm going to try and get a little bit more regular in my uploads. So right now it's about once or twice a month. So feel free to give a follow. I'll post as I can. This is the next big project. I have these work wheels. We've stripped these and we're going to be painting them and putting them on the car before Subi Fest Midwest this year. So if you want to see that process, also give a follow. And you're also welcome to follow me on Instagram. It's 2 Dope Wagons, the number 2_dope_wagons.